One of my videos ended up blowing up way more than I thought it was ever going to, and it got tons of questions and comments, so I wanted to answer some of them here. I have them on my lap. I'm going to go through them kind of one by one and see can I address some of the concerns or the burning questions that you've had. So the first one was, how long do I need to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript before I can start working for a client? And this is such a broad question because basically any time somebody is willing to pay you for something, that means you're good enough, okay? So if you think that there's something on a website that you can fix, or you know how to solve something, you can change the color of a button or whatever, then you're good enough, okay? So how long is that gonna take you? It took me about 3 months to get my first basic gig, but if you want to be consistently getting paid and getting loads of clients, then you're gonna need to have a specific level in whatever that skill is. So if it's gonna be technical SEO, you need to know that stuff, obviously. So it's kind of a broad question. It's like, how long is a piece of string? It can take you 3 months. It could take you 2 days. If you learn something valuable that somebody's willing to pay for, you're good enough. All right, question number 2. Where can I begin to learn HTML, CSS coding from zero? I've never coded before, nor know the terminology or structure. You sound like somebody who needs a course, okay? You need a course because there's no point in going through all these little basic questions on YouTube videos and you're commenting and you're trying to say, how does this work? How does this work? I might do a basic overview video. If that's something you want, leave a comment down below and I can do that. But I would suggest doing a course, and I always suggest the Odin Project because it's going to take you from absolutely knowing nothing to my level, basically. You can go all the way through, probably better than me, if you stick to it properly. I didn't really. But yeah, that's what I would suggest. If you know nothing, do a course. How do we actually find those websites to contact the clients? So yeah, just a bit of background on that question. It's because I was talking about doing lighthouse reports or figuring out using inspector tools what a website's built on. How are you going to find these people? And I have a technique that I use. It's a lot of hard work. It's called cold calling, okay? You pick up the phone and you ring these businesses. Usually their contact information is on the website. I do have a free course on framer.courses where I go through how I find web design clients. And you can do that for free if you want. But the basics are I go to any kind of a business directory, so Google Maps or the Yellow Pages in Ireland we have, or Yelp or these types of places. And I literally just go through them. I see, okay, well, they have a website or they don't have a website or they could benefit from improving their website. And it's just a lot of kind of sifting through things. You can also check LinkedIn. It's a good way to find people. But after a while, honestly, business is just going to come directly to you. If you do a good job, people will seek you out. So that's another way to do it. Oh, yeah. Number 4. This was a good one. I think it's really relevant. A lot of people are going to care about this one. So I wonder, how do I determine how much I should charge for my client? And this is where it gets a bit cheeky, okay? You might feel that the work that you're doing isn't that valuable because you know how to do it, but the client doesn't know how to do it. So then you're thinking, okay, how badly do they need it? And if they really need it, you can charge more, okay? Also, if it's a bigger business, you can charge more. But how do I figure out how much I'm gonna charge a certain business? What I did in the past was I would ring around other design agencies in my city and I would pretend that I was running this business. So if it was a shoe shop, for example, I would find the shoe shop, write down all the details about it, how big I think it is, how many pages I think their website needs, etc. And then I'd call up other web design agencies and pretend that I was making this shoe shop website and I would get a quote from them. I did that for maybe 5 different agencies. I get a price, because that way you know, okay, how much the market is charging. Then you also know your country, like locally, how much people are charging for these services. You can get an idea of their business structures, what's their offer. You can see how they're following up, and you can kind of copy that and emulate it. It's a little bit cheeky, but it's going to give you an idea of how much you can charge, how much you should charge, and then depending on what you're delivering, there's different tiers for that. So that's one way that I did it in the past. Let's have another look. Oh yeah. Hello, I'm enrolled in a coding bootcamp. I'm in week 10 of the program. I completed several projects, including a group project. Where do you suggest me marketing my skills to start freelancing? So yeah, if you've done a few projects, they should be hosted somewhere on the internet where people can see and interact with them. So I would say 100% you need a portfolio website, without a doubt. It doesn't take that long to create one. You can find the template online. You can do it custom coded, or you can use something like Framer and it just get it up and running quickly. And then for your projects, I would focus on a niche area. I do go through that in my business strategy guide, which is part of the course. And you can find your niche, find something that's going to pay you pretty well, and then focus on that niche for your portfolio. And then for marketing your skills, LinkedIn and Upwork. So go to different freelancing platforms like Freelancer or Upwork, or I think there's one, Contra now. There's loads of them. Search them, make your profile on there, get your reviews up, do some cheap jobs, and it's going to be much easier to market your skills that way. Okay. How do you work with clients' websites? Do you ask for access to their CMS, or what is the best practice? So yeah, if somebody has a website that's already hosted somewhere, usually it's going to be WordPress or Wix or one of those builders. A CMS, for anybody that doesn't know, is just content management system. And you 100% will need access to it. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, you're going to need access to their web builder, whatever it is. If it's a custom coded website, it's likely going to be on a repository on GitHub, and you can edit it through that way. But in my experience, most of them are going to be using WordPress. So you can get added to that as an administrator or as an editor or whatever. So I would do that. You need the keys, they need to trust you. You go in, you edit it, make sure you don't delete anything permanently. I have done that. You will do that, hopefully you don't. But you're going to need access to the kingdom, yeah, to adjust it, to rebuild it. So that's what I would do. I had another question about that, and it was like, oh yeah, I can see the code in the dev tools when I go to inspect, but I'm not able to edit the code permanently. And that's why, because you're just editing what's shown in your browser window, but what's actually hosted on the server is going to be whatever is in the back end of WordPress or whatever. You're just seeing the painting, you're not where the construction is, you know. When I can't build anything by myself, I start over from ground zero in order to fill the gaps, and this cycle keeps repeating. It's been a year since I started learning, and I still can't build anything on my own. Yeah, been there. I made a video about this, and it was like the biggest mistake that beginners make when learning to code or something like that. And basically it's that. You get stuck, you stop, and you start again. And you get stuck, and you stop, and you start again. This doesn't really help you because you just go over the same stuff over and over and over. And I did that. It's much easier to focus on building things, getting stuck, and then keep going to build it even further. Starting again is a waste of time. If you really want to get good, you need to be practicing, like let's say it's JavaScript. You can go to different websites and practice problems. If you want to get good at HTML and CSS or React, you can use Front-End Mentor and build projects that way. If you really want to go deep, you can design your own thing in Figma and recreate it with code on the internet. And you can do all this for free with GitHub, Netlify. You can host it on a free domain, free website. Anything you want to practice, you can just try and build it. And if you get stuck, use ChatGPT, Google, tutorials, you'll figure it out. But yeah, starting over and just starting a course again and going over the basics, waste of time, complete waste of time. Number 8, I'm a beginner towards the coding words. Okay, so let me just get the idea of this. And I started to learn Python. And when I started, the reason I wanted to code was to become a freelancer or a website manager. Would Python still be a good language to learn before, or should I switch to Java, CSS, and HTML? So there's a lot going on there. Basically, this person wanted to be a freelancer and started with Python. Good idea. But to do and build websites, not really the best idea. You can do back-end with that, building APIs. for websites and databases and things like that. So yeah, pick one or the other basically. If you want to do backend, do Python and stick to it. Learn it really well, and it's going to make learning JavaScript easier. With regards to CSS, HTML, and Java, they don't really combine very well. So I would do JavaScript. Java and JavaScript are not the same, despite the name. It's a bit confusing. But if you really are wanting to do front end, I would just do a course, the Odin Project or something like that. If you wanted to do back end, I would find another course and stick to Python and learn some databases like Postgres or something like that. But yeah, chopping and changing isn't going to help you ultimately. I had another question about that, and it was somebody who wanted to do game design and wanted to do this. No, stop wasting your time. Just do one thing and stick to it for a while. That's the best way to go. And then the last one, how do I edit and send changes to clients? I have a basic grasp of CSS and HTML while learning JavaScript. I haven't started learning Linux or servers and stuff, so I'm confused, but I do want to try. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of like what we talked about already, where you need to see where the website is hosted. So whether it's in a GitHub repo or it's on a content management system or a website builder, you find that place and you edit it there. That's how you do the changes for the client. If it's a prospect, so somebody that's not paying you yet, but you hope that they will, I would just do an example locally and screen record it and send it to them and say, look, this is what you could potentially have. But yeah, that's the video. It's kind of a quick rundown of just basic questions that people are having. If you do have more questions that I didn't get to, do leave a comment down below and I will come back to it. I also post stuff like answers to some of these questions that I get in the Discord. I actually write a newsletter about some of those questions, so keep them coming. It's really helpful for me and hopefully it's helpful for you. And if you like this video, do give it a like. You can subscribe if you want to see more of this, all that normal YouTube jargon. But yeah, looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Ciao.